I wasn't invited to my own mother's birthday party. At my house. Let that sink in for a second. The party was at my home, my living room, my kitchen, my furniture. And somehow, I wasn't on the guest list. I found out a week before when I accidentally saw the email thread on my sister's laptop. Every name was there. My dad, my brother, my aunts and uncles, even my mom's book club friends. Everyone except me. When I asked my sister about it later, she shrugged and said, "You're hosting, so we didn't think you needed an invitation." Hosting, not celebrating, not included, just hosting. That's when I realized something I'd been avoiding my entire life. I wasn't part of my family. I was the help, the backdrop, the person who made sure everyone else had a good time while standing on the outside looking in. This is the story of how I became invisible in my own life, and how I finally decided to stop disappearing. I'm 32 years old, and I've spent most of my life trying to figure out where I fit in my family. My older sister has always been the golden child, confident, assertive, the one everyone turns to when decisions need to be made. My brother is the capable one, steady, reliable, good with his hands and his money. And then there's me, the quiet one, the one who's just there. Growing up, I told myself it didn't matter. Families have dynamics. Someone has to be the peacekeeper, right? Someone has to be the one who doesn't rock the boat. But as I got older, I started noticing a pattern. Family vacations were planned without asking my schedule. Holiday dinners were arranged around everyone else's availability. Even small things, like where we'd meet for coffee, were decided before anyone thought to check if I could make it. And every time I felt that sting of being overlooked, I'd tell myself the same thing. Maybe I'm being too sensitive. Maybe I'm overthinking this. My husband, James, saw it differently. He'd watch my family interact with me and shake his head. "They don't even realize they're doing it," he'd say. "But that doesn't make it okay." Last year, James and I bought a house. It's nothing fancy, but it's ours, and it's spacious. 3 bedrooms, a big backyard, an open-concept living and dining area that's perfect for gatherings. My sister noticed immediately. "This place is amazing," she said the first time she visited. "You know what? We should throw Mom's 60th birthday here." I felt a flicker of something I hadn't felt in years. Excitement. Maybe this was my chance to be involved, to contribute something meaningful, to finally be part of the planning instead of just showing up. "That sounds great," I said. "I'd love to help organize it." My sister smiled. "Perfect. I'll handle the details." And she did. All of them. Over the next few weeks, she planned the menu. She booked the caterer. She designed the invitations. Every time I tried to offer input, she'd wave me off. "I got it handled," she'd say. "Don't worry about it." I told myself she was just being helpful. She's always been a take-charge person, but there was something about the way she dismissed my suggestions that felt off. Like I was getting in the way instead of contributing. 2 weeks before the party, I texted her, "Hey, do you need me to pick up anything? Decorations, supplies?" She replied an hour later. "Nope, all set. Just make sure your house is clean." Just make sure your house is clean. I read that message 3 times, trying to figure out why it bothered me so much. It wasn't rude exactly, but it wasn't warm either. It was transactional, like I was the venue, not the host, and definitely not family. James saw me staring at my phone. "What's wrong?" he asked. "Nothing," I said. "Just sister stuff." But it wasn't nothing. It was the same pattern I'd been living with my whole life. I was there to facilitate, to provide, to make things easier for everyone else. But I was never actually part of the equation. I tried to shake it off. I told myself I was reading too much into things. The party was still a week away. Maybe once it actually happened, I'd feel differently. Maybe I'd feel included. But deep down, I already knew the truth. I'd been feeling it for years, and I'd been ignoring it for just as long. I wasn't part of my family's inner circle. I was orbiting around it, close enough to see everything, never close enough to touch. 1 week before the party, my sister stopped by to drop off some decorations. She set her laptop on my kitchen counter while she ran back to her car to grab another box. The screen was still open. I wasn't trying to snoop. I was just glancing over to move it out of the way when I saw the email subject line. Final guest list for Mom's birthday. I hesitated. Part of me knew I shouldn't look, but a bigger part of me couldn't stop myself. I opened the thread. The list was detailed. My dad's name, my brother and his wife, my sister and her husband, my Aunt Linda, my Uncle Greg, my mom's best friend, Sharon, even her book club members, people I'd only met a handful of times. 23 names in total. I scrolled slowly, looking for my name. Maybe it was at the bottom. Maybe it was in a separate email. It wasn't there. I read through the list again and again. My hands started shaking. Then I saw the replies. My brother had written, "Looks good. Should we add her name?" He didn't even say my name. Just her. My sister's response came 2 minutes later. "No need. She'll be busy hosting anyway." Busy hosting. I closed the laptop carefully, like if I moved too fast, the words would somehow become more real. My chest felt tight. Not angry tight. Not yet. Just confused. Hollow. When my sister came back in, I was standing in the exact same spot, staring at the counter. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. My voice sounded strange, distant. "I'm fine." She didn't notice. That night, I told James. I tried to say it calmly, like it wasn't a big deal, but my voice cracked halfway through. "They didn't put me on the guest list." James looked at me like I'd just told him someone died. "What?" "For the party. At our house. I'm not on the guest list." "That's insane," he said. He wasn't yelling, but his voice was hard, angry. "You need to say something. Right now." "Maybe it's a mistake," I said. Even as the words came out, I knew they weren't true. "It's not a mistake," James said. "Your brother literally asked if they should add you, and your sister said no." I sat down on the couch. I felt like I was underwater. Everything was muffled and slow. "Maybe she didn't mean it like that," I said. "Maybe she just thought since I'm hosting I don't need a formal invitation." James sat next to me. "Do you hear yourself? You're making excuses for them." He was right. I was. Because that's what I'd been doing my whole life, making excuses, convincing myself that I was overreacting, that I was too sensitive, that if I just stayed quiet and kept trying, eventually they'd see me. But they didn't see me. They never had. "What do I even say?" I asked. "Tell them the truth," James said. "Tell them it's messed up. Tell them you're hurt." I thought about it. I imagined the conversation. My sister getting defensive. My brother saying I was overreacting. My mom saying it wasn't a big deal. And me, once again, apologizing for having feelings. "I don't know if I can," I said. "Then don't go," James said. "Seriously, if they're not going to treat you like family, why should you show up?" But I knew I would show up, because that's what I always did. I showed up. I smiled. I made everything easy for everyone else, even when it broke something inside me. "Let's just see how it goes," I said. "Maybe once the party actually happens, it'll feel different." James didn't say anything. He just put his arm around me and let me sit there in the quiet. But I already knew how it was going to feel. I'd felt it 1,000 times before. I'd just never let myself name it. I wasn't going to be a guest at my mother's birthday party. I was going to be furniture, a table to set things on, a place to happen. Not a person, not a daughter. Just there. The morning of the party, I woke up at 6. I couldn't sleep. My stomach was in knots, but I got up anyway and started cleaning. I vacuumed the living room. I scrubbed the kitchen counters. I arranged the chairs in the dining room just the way my sister had specified in her last email. James watched me from the hallway. "You don't have to do this," he said. "I know," I said, but I kept cleaning. The guests started arriving at 2. I opened the door for each of them, smiling, saying hello. Most of them hugged my mom first. A few hugged my sister. My brother got handshakes and pats on the back. I got polite nods. "Oh, hi, sweetie," my Aunt Linda said as she walked past me. "Where's the bathroom?" I pointed down the hall. She didn't say anything else. My mom's friend Sharon came in next. She handed me her coat. "Can you put this somewhere safe?" she asked. Then she walked into the living room without waiting for a response. I stood there holding her coat, watching everyone gather around my mom. She was laughing, radiant, happy. My sister stood next to her, one arm around her shoulders, beaming like she'd orchestrated the whole thing, which, I guess, she had. I hung the coat in the closet and went to the kitchen. There were drinks to refill, appetizers to arrange, plates to set out. I kept myself busy because staying busy meant I didn't have to stand in the living room and feel invisible. At one point, I tried to join a conversation. My Uncle Greg was telling a story about a fishing trip. I sat down on the arm of the couch, listening, waiting for a natural break to say something. But before I could, my brother interrupted with his own fishing story, and the conversation shifted. I sat there for another minute, silent, and then I got up. No one noticed. James found me in the kitchen. "Hey," he said quietly. "You okay?" "I'm fine," I said. I wasn't fine, but I didn't know how to explain that I felt like a ghost in my own house. "Let's leave," James said. "Seriously, we can just go upstairs, or go for a drive. You don't owe them this." "I can't," I said. "It's my mom's birthday." "And you're her daughter," James said. "But they're not treating you like one." Before I could respond, my sister called from the living room. "Okay, everyone, it's time for the cake and presents." I walked out and stood near the doorway. My sister had set up a small table with gifts stacked neatly on top. My mom sat in the center of the room, surrounded by everyone. My dad, my brother, my sister, aunts and uncles, friends. All of them gathered around her, smiling. My sister handed my mom the first gift. It was from her. My mom opened it and gasped. "Oh, this is beautiful," she said, holding up a framed photo of the three of them. My mom, my sister, my brother. Taken last Christmas. I wasn't in the photo. I'd been the one taking it. "Let's get a picture of the four of us," my mom said, gesturing to my dad, my sister, and my brother. I started to step forward, but my sister held up her hand. "Actually, let's do one with just us siblings first," she said. She looked at me. "Can you take it?" I stared at her. My brother was already moving into position. My mom was smiling, oblivious. My dad was checking his phone. "Sure," I said. I took the photo. My sister, my brother, my mom between them, all of them smiling. I pressed the button. The camera clicked. "Perfect," my sister said. I handed the phone back and walked into the kitchen. I stood at the sink, gripping the edge of the counter, trying to breathe. James came up behind me. "That's it," he said. "We're leaving." "I can't make a scene," I said. My voice was shaking. "It's her birthday." "You're not making a scene," James said. "They are. They've been making one all day, and you're the only one who doesn't see it." But I did see it. I'd been seeing it my whole life. I just hadn't wanted to believe it. I stayed in the kitchen until the cake was cut. I stayed while people ate. I stayed while they laughed and told stories. I stayed while my mom opened the rest of her gifts. And the whole time, I felt like I was watching from behind glass. There. But not really. When the last guest finally left, I was exhausted. Not physically, emotionally. Like I'd been holding my breath for hours and had forgotten how to exhale. And then my sister turned to me and said, "Thanks for letting us use your place. It was perfect." That's when I snapped. I don't even remember deciding to say something. One second I was standing there, numb, and the next second the words were coming out. Why wasn't I on the guest list? My sister blinked. "What?" "The guest list," I said. My voice was steady, but my hands were shaking. "For the party. I saw the email. My name wasn't on it." My sister glanced at my brother. He looked uncomfortable. My dad was already heading toward the door. "You were hosting," my sister said, like it was obvious. "We didn't want to burden you with an invitation. You had enough to worry about." "Burden me?" I repeated. "It's my house. My mother's birthday, and I wasn't even invited?" "You're making this a bigger deal than it is," my brother said. He was using his calm voice. The one he used when he thought someone was being irrational. I turned to my mom. She was sitting on the couch, looking anywhere but at me. "Did you know?" I asked. She hesitated. "Sweetie, I didn't think it mattered. You were here. You were part of it." "I wasn't part of it," I said. "I was staff. I refilled drinks. I took photos. I held coats. But I wasn't part of it." "You're being dramatic," my sister said. "Am I?" I asked. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't crying. I was just tired. Because from where I'm standing, I've been invisible to all of you for years, and today just made it official. My mom stood up. "This isn't about you," she said. Her voice was soft, but the words hit like a slap. "This is my birthday, and I had a lovely time. I don't understand why you have to ruin it." "This isn't about you." I felt something crack inside my chest. Not break, just crack. Like a piece of glass that's been hit just hard enough to splinter but not shatter. "You're right," I said quietly. "It's not about me. It never has been." I walked past them, upstairs to my bedroom. James followed. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the wall. "I'm sorry," James said. "For what?" I asked. "That they're like this," he said. "That they can't see you." I nodded. I didn't trust myself to speak yet. Downstairs, I could hear voices. My sister's, sharp and defensive. My brother's, low and reasonable. My mom's, tired and confused. And then the front door closed. They left. That night, I cried. Not the angry kind of crying, the grief kind. Because I was mourning something I'd never actually had. A family that saw me. A mother who chose me. A place at a table that was never set for me to begin with. The next morning, the texts started. My sister. "You completely ruined Mom's night. I can't believe you made it about yourself." My brother. "Why do you always have to make things so dramatic? It was just a party." My mom didn't text. She called. I didn't answer. I blocked their numbers. Not forever. Just for a week. Maybe 2. I needed space. I needed silence. I needed to stop apologizing for existing. James made me coffee that morning and sat with me on the couch. "What do you need?" he asked. "I don't know," I said. "I just know I can't keep doing this." "Then don't," he said. And for the first time in my life, I considered it. Not cutting them off completely, but stopping. Stopping the constant effort. Stopping the hope that maybe this time they'd see me. Stopping the belief that if I just tried harder, loved better, gave more, I'd finally be enough. Because the truth is, I was already enough. I'd always been enough. They just couldn't see it, and that wasn't my fault. It was theirs. A few days later, my mom left a voicemail. "Honey, I don't understand why you're upset. Can we please talk?" I haven't called her back yet. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. But if I do, it'll be on my terms. Not because I'm desperate to be seen, but because I've finally learned that I don't need their validation to know I matter. I told James that night, I'm done trying to earn a seat at a table that was never set for me. He nodded. Good. If you've ever felt invisible in your own life, know this. You're not asking for too much. You're asking the wrong people. Drop a comment if you've been there, and don't forget to subscribe for more real stories.